Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to get behind the headlines, really understand complex topics. Today, we are diving into Tuedex.com. It's a cryptocurrency platform it's getting talked about. And our mission here really is to figure out what's actually going on. We've got sources painting two very different pictures. On one hand, you hear things like holy grail of crypto exchanges, perfect reviews, super fast withdrawals, low fees. Sounds great, right? But then other sources are saying, hold on, this could be fraud so sophisticated it makes Nigerian princes look like amateurs. So quite a contrast. It definitely looks the part, presents itself as completely legit, very appealing on the surface.
Yeah, and that's what's so fascinating here. The illusion is incredibly well built. Our sources, and we've looked at quite a range, YouTube reviews, user comments, but also fraud detection sites, even specific regulatory warnings. They all start pointing in a pretty clear and honestly quite concerning direction. So we're going to try and unpack that reality, cut through the glossy finish, and help you, the listener, see what this all means, especially if you're thinking about investing in crypto.
Okay, right. Let's get into that facade then, because the first thing that really jumps out, looking at the sources, is just how professional Tuedex.com looks. It's not some, thrown together site. It's slick, modern design. And it's just flooded with these, supposedly glowing testimonials. It's clearly meant to impress you right away. And when I say glowing, I mean some of these Trustpilot reviews highlighted in our sources, they're almost unbelievable. They read like love letters to crypto Jesus. It's quite something. People are talking about smooth trades, lightning fast withdrawals, which, in crypto, that's a huge selling point.
Oh, absolutely. Speed is key.
And customer service that's supposedly like Swiss hospitality. It paints this picture of just a perfect, seamless experience. Almost too perfect, maybe? What's the psychology going on there?
Well, exactly. And connecting this to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
These aren't just, happy accidents. Our sources suggest these positive reviews are actually criminally well crafted. They're psychological tools. They seem designed to hit every trigger. You see this pattern, right? Testimonials saying, oh, I started small, just testing it out.
Right, dipping a toe in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Made a small profit, withdrew it, no problem. And that builds confidence. It plays right into confirmation bias. You want to believe it's real, and look, here's proof. And then there's the social proof aspect. If everyone else is saying it's amazing, well, it must be legit, right? It's really insidious because it takes that genuine excitement people feel about crypto, the real desire to improve their financial situation, and it weaponizes it. They use these small wins to make even skeptical investors feel safe. Build up that trust, and then pull the rug out.
That totally makes sense. They're selling a story, not just a service. Okay, but here's where, things get really interesting, according to our sources, where the cracks start to show for the people involved. Initially, like you said, you deposit crypto into Tuedex.com, everything seems fine, your balance shows up, maybe you even see some profits. But what happens when you try to withdraw? Especially a significant amount. After they've built up that confidence, maybe you've put more in.
Yes. And that's the moment the trap springs.
That's what the sources describe. Suddenly, out of nowhere, there are verification fees or maybe tax requirements you never heard about before.
Right.
Then it's technical issues, always sort of vague, always needing something else from you, usually more money. You have to make additional deposits just to get your own funds out.
It becomes this endless loop.
It sounds like it, but what's actually happening behind the curtain? Is any trading even occurring?
Well, this raises that critical question, doesn't it? Why does this pattern keep showing up? And the sources are pretty clear. No. Despite the fancy website, the functional-looking interface, there's likely no actual trading happening. Your crypto deposit, it doesn't go into a real exchange pool.
So where does it go?
It gets funneled away, probably straight into a private wallet controlled by the scammers. What you're seeing on your screen, the balance, the profits, maybe even those charts that look live, it's just data in their database.
Wow, so it's all smoke and mirrors.
Pretty much. They're running a simulation, a very convincing one, designed to make you think your money's working for you, growing. But actually, it's gone. It's, as one source put it, just sophisticated theft operations masquerading as investment opportunities. They aren't investing your money, they're just taking it.
Okay, but how do they manage to make the simulations so convincing? If there's no real trading, how do they mimic it so well? That suggests a fair bit of technical skill.
Oh, absolutely. And our sources point this out. The sophistication is a key part of the scam. Legitimate exchanges have complex systems, order books, liquidity, blockchain records you can check.
Right, transparency.
These scam sites, they're essentially just well-built web applications. They can update a number in their own database to show your balance increasing. They can generate fake transaction IDs that look real but don't actually exist on any public blockchain ledger.
Okay.
They can even pull in real market data feeds to make their charts look completely live and responsive, even though your money isn't actually interacting with that market at all. It creates this highly believable facade.
And the technical issues preventing withdrawals.
Pure fiction. Just excuses. Excuses designed to frustrate you, make you desperate, and ultimately get you to send more money chasing after what you've already lost. It preys on that sunk cost fallacy.
Gotcha. Okay, so we've looked at the user experience, the sort of personal side of this trap. Let's zoom out a bit. What are the bigger red flags? The systemic things that scream scam about Tuedex.com?
Well, and this is important. We're not just relying on individual stories, right? Multiple established fraud detection websites, places that analyze these things for a living, have flagged Tuedex.com unequivocally. Scam Detector, for instance, which came up in our research, gives a very high risk rating. And they point out its connections, its similarities to other known crypto scams.
So it fits a pattern.
Exactly. It operates exactly like other confirmed crypto scams that have stolen millions, they say. It's following a known playbook. These sites look at domain registration details, hosting providers, the whole technical footprint, and see patterns consistent with fraud.
And that actually brings up something else our sources really hammered home, those reviews we talked about earlier. The sheer number and how overly positive they are. I mean, think about it. Real crypto exchanges, the big legitimate ones, they build their reputation over time through actual performance, user trust. They don't usually need an army of suspicious 5-star reviews.
That's a huge point.
So when you see a platform like Tuedex relying so heavily on what looks like manufactured praise, that alone feels like a massive red flag, doesn't it? How easy is it for them to fake those reviews anyway? And are there subtle clues maybe a listener could spot?
It is disturbingly easy, actually. Our sources mention things like bot networks or review farms, where people get paid tiny amounts to post positive, fake comments. For someone trying to spot them, you look for the lack of specifics. Fake reviews are often over-the-top, enthusiastic, amazing platform, best ever, but super vague.
Right. No real detail.
Exactly. A genuine user might mention a specific feature they like, or even a problem they had that got resolved well. Fakes are often just generic praise. Fast withdrawals, great support.
Yeah.
Also, check the timing. Did a whole bunch of 5-star reviews appear all at once, very suddenly? That's suspicious. And look at the reviewer profiles themselves. Are they brand new? Do they have only one review? Those are indicators too. Real growth looks more organic.
That's really useful advice. Okay, beyond reviews, what about the official side? Regulation, transparency, what do the sources say about Tuedex.com there? Because that seems crucial.
Oh, it's absolutely critical. And this is where Tuedex.com just completely falls flat, according to everything we've seen. There is basically zero transparency. Legitimate exchanges, they tell you who their banking partners are, they explain their insurance if they have it, they show you their compliance paperwork, which regulatory bodies oversee them.
They want you to know they're legit.
Precisely. Tuedex.com, none of that. It's a black box. There's just this void where verifiable information should be. And what's more, we found specific warnings from regulatory bodies, like the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. They put out alerts about fraudulent platforms that look legitimate but are just designed to steal deposits.
And these alerts describe platforms like Tuedex.
They often describe the exact methods. Unregistered status, deceptive promises, withdrawal problems. It lines up perfectly. You know, a real financial company wants you to easily verify their credentials. A scam relies on you not being able to.
It all paints a pretty damning picture. And it sounds incredibly sophisticated. Our sources were suggesting that even people who are pretty tech-savvy, who know their way around crypto, are getting caught out by scams like this. How is that possible?
It really speaks to how advanced these operations have become. And it's why that sort of detective work our sources mention is becoming almost necessary, unfortunately.
The websites, as we said, they look identical to legitimate exchanges. It's not just a quick paint job. The user interfaces often do seem to function properly, letting you click around, see charts, right up until that withdrawal attempt. And the social proof, those fake reviews and testimonials, they look authentic at first glance. It's only when you start digging, doing that detective work, that the cracks appear.
So what does that detective work actually involve for someone trying to be careful?
Okay, so a few things a savvy person could do. First, check the website's domain registration date. Use a WHOIS lookup tool. Many scam sites are surprisingly new.
Good point.
Second, if they show photos of their team or executives, do a reverse image search on those photos. Often you'll find they're just stock images, AI-generated faces, or maybe even pictures stolen from real people on LinkedIn.
Wow.
Third, actually read the terms of service or privacy policy if they even have them. Look for generic language, inconsistencies, sections that look like they were just copied and pasted poorly. And fourth, crucially, if they claim to be regulated by a specific body, don't just trust a badge on their site. Go to the official website of that regulator and search for the company's name yourself. Verify it independently.
That makes sense. Don't trust, verify.
Exactly. And the fact that you need to do all this detective work, that itself is telling. A truly secure, transparent platform shouldn't require that level of forensic investigation from its users. The platform should be providing clear proof.
That's a fantastic point. The need for deep investigation is almost a red flag in itself. It shows these scams aren't just targeting greed, they're targeting our trust, our belief that good opportunities exist.
Precisely. They tap into that legitimate hope for financial betterment, especially in exciting markets like crypto. These scams are complex enough now that they don't just fool beginners. They can trick experienced people who might miss tiny warning signs because the overall package looks so professional and the promised returns are so tempting.
Yeah.
Those initial small, successful withdrawals are just incredibly effective hooks. They make you feel like you found something special, maybe an inside track, and then once you commit more serious money, snap, the trap closes.
So putting it all together, after this deep dive, looking at all the sources, the verdict on Tuedex.com seems pretty stark, pretty unavoidable. It really does look like weapons-grade cryptocurrency fraud, just wrapped up in very convincing, legitimate-looking packaging. It's a serious warning for anyone involved in crypto.
Absolutely. And for your safety, for your decision-making, let's just recap the core takeaways. Real crypto exchanges. They don't need fake reviews to get customers. They don't operate in the shadows without clear, verifiable regulation. And they certainly don't block your withdrawals with sudden, unexplained fees after they have your money.
Yeah.
The very fact that you might need to become a digital detective just to feel safe, that itself is perhaps the biggest red flag of all. Always verify, scrutinize everything. And if it feels too good to be true,
It almost certainly is.
you got it.
So it leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener. In this digital world where scams are getting this sophisticated, where even experienced people can be fooled, how can you develop a deeper, more critical eye for online financial platforms? Not just to dodge the scams, but to genuinely tell the difference between real opportunity and clever illusion. How do you make sure your investments are truly safe? Something to definitely mull over.